Well, hello everybody. Welcome to Freedom and Survival. In this video, we're going to talk about artificial intelligence. and what I want to do is I want to go into not only what they purport that they, meaning the science industry, and specifically those whom Trump brought in to um, introduce the new AI project called Stargate, artificial intelligence. We're going to get into that, but we're also going to get into some of the what we would consider pros and cons of artificial intelligence, and we're going to get into some conspiratorial type of topics. And there's a couple things that I want to do as far as housekeeping is concerned. And one of them is the fact that if you notice on the title itself for this particular topic, I have actually three logos under my photograph there. And one is for Timotheos Enterprises Media, and the other on the left is for Timotheos Biblical Studies. And then, of course, the one on the right is Freedom and Survival. And the reason for that is because I'm going to be cross-posting this particular video on all of my channels. And the reason for that is because there are implications for the future of artificial intelligence as far as it has to go with business and creativity. And here on Freedom and Survival, it has to do with politics, it has to do with business, has to do with control. And I'm going to get into depopulation and all of these things in this video. And on biblical Timotheus Biblical Studies, I'm going to cross it over there. I might add another segment and get into the scriptural side of what we are possibly looking at. So the other thing in housekeeping that I want to get to is the fact that I did a video on Timotheos Enterprises, a chat with Meta AI, and what I was doing was I was simply illustrating how it is used as a search engine, just like Google. And I had some of you thanked me for doing that, and then some of you actually went off the deep end. I had some go off the deep end, and then some actually, let me readjust this here, and some actually cut me off from communication. And, all that's fine. Whatever floats your boat. But what I want to do in this video as well is expose the hypocrisy of what you might think is going on with AI and you. So let me address that particular hypocrisy to begin with. And what I'm going to do that is I'm going to show you exactly what's going on in our day and age right now, not what's in the future, what is going on right now. So when I did that other video, and I've got the link in the description below, by the way, but when I did that other video, I had someone who actually is a very close friend. I still consider this individual a close friend to this day, but this individual got on Messenger, which is Meta, owned by Meta, just like Facebook is owned by Meta. And if you have Messenger up, you will see that there is at the top a Meta link, as well as the fact that when you get on Facebook, there is a Meta link, and it will say that you can begin to chat with Meta AI. And that's what I did. This individual chatted me on Meta and then on text and said, look, you just drug me into Meta AI. How could you do that? And I'm like, seriously? You're thinking I'm dragging you into Meta AI? And then there was this challenge about IT and all this other stuff. I don't want to get into that. here's the point. And I'm going to show you this. I'm going to show you this right now. If you are on an Android phone or an iPad or an iPhone or a MacBook or an Intel computer, you're already involved in AI. Statement of fact. You can't deny it. I don't care who you are. I don't care what kind of genius you think you are. And I'm not just talking about this individual. I'm talking about anybody. And you think that you have all of these technologies that you use every day, social media platforms, search engines, computers. You go into the stores and you are being tracked by the security cameras using AI. Don't tell me I'm dragging you or anybody else is dragging you into AI, because that and then tell me you're evading it, because that is foolishness, is naivety, and it is hypocrisy. And then you want to talk to me like that or anybody else. It's foolishness. Let's get into this. So the first thing I come up with in this particular aspect is, what are the top AI companies? What are they? Top AI companies include Alphabet, Amazon, Microsoft, NVIDIA, and OpenAI. Top AI platforms include Amazon, SageMaker, Microsoft Azure AI, Google Cloud Vertex AI. You think that's it? Nope. So let's go through this list. So what we have here is I've got a ton of Google searches. I've got them all listed on other individual tabs, and we're going to go through this. So what did we do? The 10 best artificial intelligence platforms shortlist. Agoozy, PyTorch. I mean, the list just goes on and on. IBM Watson. Oh, yeah, that was a search engine AI. That was one of the early adopters. There's OpenAI, and I'm going to get into OpenAI because OpenAI can mean one or more of three things, and we're going to take a look at that. And Aporia. Okay, let's go to the next tab. Top 10 AI platforms. Mobile Magazine considers some of the pioneering AI platforms that support the industry as it continues to digitally transform with disruptive technology. TensorFlow, Anthropic's Claude. Claude is huge, by the way. Claude is very, very big. Adobe Sensei. Adobe. Oh. I'm going to get into this too because they just mentioned Adobe. And if you are creative in any sense of the word and you use Adobe products, you're subscribed to, like, say, Adobe Premiere, Adobe Photoshop, Adobe Lightroom, Adobe Acrobat, and even Adobe Acrobat and Adobe, the one that does the layering like DaVinci Fusion or Blackmagic's Fusion, they are all integrated and embedded with AI. NVIDIA is huge. NVIDIA is not just in our graphical user interface, though that is the hugest part of the market. And there's a reason why NVIDIA is going to be a part of the Stargate AI project. They're part of this partnership. NVIDIA, IBM Watson, go down here, OpenAI's ChatGPT. Everybody's heard of ChatGPT. And Microsoft's Azure AI. Oh, I think I missed one. Amazon SageMaker. Amazon, if you buy anything or search anything on Amazon, you are involved in artificial intelligence. AWS. AWS stands for Amazon Web Services. And Amazon Web Services is a multi-layered, multi-tiered artificial intelligence to not only track what you click on and to sell you what you click on, to show you comparable products, and to take you through the entire process to check out. So if you buy stuff on Amazon, you are using artificial intelligence. Apple's Core ML. Apple's Core ML is just one of Apple's artificial intelligence platforms. The other one is called Apple Intelligence. Google Gemini AI. If you do a Google search, Google uses Gemini AI. Well, guess what AI platforms your Android devices use as well? Who owns Android? Google. Let's keep going. Well, let's do another tab. What are the 69 artificial intelligence AI companies to know about? Here's top ones to know about. OpenAI, Google, IBM, Microsoft, NVIDIA, Amazon, Anthropic, and Anduril. Then we go into OpenAI, Google, IBM, Microsoft, NVIDIA. Let me go into SuperSource here. NVIDIA, Anthropic, Amazon, Anduril, Maestro. That is a big one. I haven't heard of that in a while. LSAI, Consumer, Grammarly. Grammarly is a huge text AI for writing. NextThink, Notion, Flatfile, Greenlight, Guru, Motive, Kenshaw Technologies. Listen, there are a ton of artificial intelligence companies and platforms out there. Trera, Gray Matter Robotics, Clavio, Vorto, EDB, Publica by IAS, System 1, PwC, Spectrum, Aspiring Apps, Smartly's big, Domino Data. You had to have heard about most of these AI platforms. Northwest Mutual. Did you know that artificial intelligence is now doing a majority of the insurance claim analysis? How about calling up for customer support at any of your favorite companies, AT&T, any of your banks, and you go through the tree? What the voicemail tree? What do you think is running those things? It's artificial intelligence. General Motors has their own AI, Claria, Metropolis Technologies, Lily AI, Samsara, Red Flag AI, Gradient AI, AMP AI, LogRocket, Sojourn, and the list goes. Everybody is getting their hand into AI. Top 12 platforms. How do I get rid of this? For 2025. It goes into what is an intelligent platform, and then it talks about Guru, Rasa, Vertex, Microsoft Azure, OpenAI, GPT Chat, H2O AI, TensorFlow, IBM Watson, PyTorch, Claude, and a bunch of the others. Now, let's take a look at specifically tab after tab after tab, who uses what. Let's start with Mac or Apple with their new M4 chip. The M4 chip includes an advanced neural engine designed for AI workloads, providing significant improvement over its predecessors. Not that the predecessor didn't have AI and didn't have a neural engine, because it did. But the M4 chip in your Mac Mini, in your iPad, has advanced neural engines and designed for AI workloads and for desktop AI clusters. And this is going to touch on the open AI that I had previously talked about. So, yes, your Mac products, your iPhone, your iPad, your mini Macs, your Mac Minis, your Mac Mini Studios, and all of the above, your Mac Watch, your Apple Watch, all of those things have artificial intelligence embedded into them. What is the next one? Well, the next one is, let's see if I can, this isn't anything. I don't know what that is. What does the Galaxy and the Android use? They use Gemini. They use Gemini and they use Vertex, both owned by Google. Here is the one for Samsung. The one or Google. The One UI is Samsung's first integrated platform. So Samsung products that have Android on them, they use Google Gemini and Google Vertex and Samsung's one user interface artificial intelligence. So if you have a Samsung product or you have an Android product, you are already using artificial intelligence and it is there just waiting. If you think you don't, just get the next latest, greatest update and it will ask you how you want to use their new artificial intelligence features on your device. Microsoft. Does Microsoft have AI? Absolutely. The AI tools and features that are in Microsoft Windows 11 called Copilot. Now, I'm going to mention this because we're going to come back to this when we talk about Stargate. Why was Bill Gates at Mar-a-Lago visiting Trump for over 3 hours? Many people want to conjecture that it was due to talking about the next wave of vaccines. And I am going to venture to say that if you stick around long enough and you watch what's going on in this country with the artificial intelligence industry long enough, you're going to find out that Bill Gates was at Mar-a-Lago to talk about the new project Stargate. Now, why do I say that? It's very simple. The OpenAI research firm is owned or was owned by Microsoft and Bill Gates. And Bill Gates gave up the majority of the, would you say, the intellectual stock in OpenAI, the research firm, because Stargate is going to take on way too much money and resources for him to be messing with, because he's got all these other medical projects, all these humanitarian projects with the WHO, with the WEF, and with the UN that he's involved in. And he gave up his control over OpenAI and made Sam Altman, and also with Elon Musk and all these others, gave up that because he didn't have the time, but he kept an open right of refusal to sway it or move it in any direction he seemed fit. And it is my conjecture, is my opinion, in my opinion only, this is just an opinion, excuse me, that Bill Gates, that Bill Gates was meeting in Mar-a-Lago with Trump to talk about Stargate and how and what kind of deals Stargate should, or kind of deals Trump should make to make Stargate a reality. I also want to tell you, if you stop and take a look at the resources that the new artificial intelligence industry is going to take, along with the fact that even though they say it's going to create 100,000 jobs, by the time this thing kicks off, you are going to see how Stargate is going to eliminate a ton of jobs, and therefore it is tied into the global push for depopulation. And it is also tied in to, as Larry, whatever his face name is that I'm going to bring up, mentioned about the medical vaccines and mRNA and all this other stuff. It's all tied in to all of this stuff. And we're going to go through that. So Windows 11 particularly uses AI called Pilot or Copilot. So Intel, in and of itself, Intel as a hardware actually uses its Intel AI for Enterprise delivers the silicon software and developer tools needed to make every enterprise device from PC to edge to data center as productive for AI as possible. It uses Simplify. AI, simplify your AI journey. Simplify. Now, let's see. We'll start a chat with Instagram. Let's see what this says here. Instagram uses a variety of AI tools, including deep text, NLP algorithms, and generative AI. So if you are engaged in posting or searching and copying a link, like the individual that wanted to berate me and belittle me and go off the deep end, which he got a link off of Instagram, he immediately used artificial intelligence, whether he wants to admit it or not. This individual was involved in artificial intelligence. Now, while we go to the next link, if you think that, and I'm not saying that there isn't contact tracing being done by artificial intelligence. That would be naive of me to say. But if you think that somebody is dragging you into AI or being contact traced or being embedded with AI, all of a sudden, I think you've forgotten the simple name of Snowden. Let me say that up close. If you think that you are suddenly being inundated by contact tracing using AI because you're on Messenger and somebody else uses Meta AI or any of these other AI platforms, and they're suddenly sucking you into AI with contact tracing, you have forgotten the name Edward Snowden. You are either forgetful, naive, or a hypocrite. I'm not naming names. And just because I'm not in the information or IT industry doesn't mean that this is not common knowledge. It is. And it doesn't mean because you're an information guru in one aspect that you know everything across the board, because you do not. All it does is it just takes a little bit of research. It really does. That's all it takes. The next one. Let's take a look here. Now, Apple Intelligence. Mac Mini 4 uses Apple Silicon. Oh, wait a minute. Everybody is getting on board with Apple Silicon. And you would think they're talking about the hardware, but they're talking about Apple Intelligence and Apple Silicon as an AI platform. Once again, if you have an iPhone, if you have an iPad, and if you have Minimax, going back at least to M2, you already are involved in artificial intelligence. Don't let yourself fool yourself. If you hear coughing in the background, I have somebody in the gallery watching, and they're not feeling so hot. So that's all. That's what all that's about. So the next tab is Intel uses a variety of platforms, including Open Platform for Enterprise, OPIA, the Intel Tiber AI Cloud, and Intel Gaudi AI, along with the other one that I mentioned, Copilot. So just so you understand, AI is embedded in the computing hardware that we have in our tower systems, our desktop systems, and our laptop systems, along with our tablets and along with our smartphones. I mean, this is just simple research. Android uses the best of Google's AI and machine learning expertise to protect you from spammers. Okay, whatever. Get started with Apple Intelligence. Here, this is where I got the Apple Intelligence on the Mac. The Apple Intelligence is personal intelligence system built into the Mac OS, starting with Sequoia. It combines all the power of generative models with an understanding of your personal context. Your personal context. It doesn't take you talking to somebody else through Messenger with Meta AI, whether you're talking to them or not, while somebody else is using Meta AI to drag you into AI. You're already there. We're all already there. Make no mistake about it. If you want to avail yourself of the modern tools of a phone, of a computer, of a tablet, you go into the store and you use the register, and it's collecting your data. You are already involved in artificial and using artificial intelligence. It knows who you are. And this is where OpenAI comes into play. I'm just saying, that's just a little jab for what we're going to talk about next, or coming up. The next tab I have here is what AI does YouTube use? Does YouTube use AI? Because the individual sent to me YouTube links. Or others might send you YouTube links. YouTube uses a variety of AI technologies: machine learning, deep learning, natural language processing, and computer vision. YouTube also uses AI to help creators generate ideas, titles, and videos. Let me tell you something else. It also uses keywords that creators type into their post so that AI can grab a hold of it and send your video out to everybody that searches for that particular thing and or seems to be interested. That's what AI does. Guess what? YouTube uses AI in so many ways, it would make your eyes spin inside of your head. Now, for those of us who are creative, NVIDIA uses AI. I've got an NVIDIA graphics user interface, a graphics user card in my tower computer. I've got one in my laptop here. NVIDIA, I've got a 4070 and a 1060, and they all have AI embedded into them. That's how they render the image on your screen. That's how editing programs, that's how Affinity Photo, that's how Affinity Designer, that's how Affinity Publisher, that's how Adobe uses your graphical user interface to make its images, and DaVinci Resolve to crank over your video editing, and Adobe Premiere, and a myriad of other editing platforms. Rumble uses NVIDIA. Let's just bring this up. Rumble, wait a minute, look here. I do not post on YouTube because YouTube censors everybody and they use AI. And they use AI to censor you. Now, as a creator, content creator, as a podcaster, I understand where you're coming from. And I agree. I've been censored. I've been shut down at least 3 times by YouTube, which makes my channel have to start over again. Or any of my channels, I have to start over again if they don't like me using the C word or a bunch of other things, like letter agencies or whatever. But just because you think you don't post on YouTube or you don't go on YouTube and you stick to Rumble because they don't censor you, don't think for a minute that Rumble doesn't use AI. Take a look at this. Rumble utilizes NVIDIA's H100 GPU for all of its AI processing, particularly within its Rumble Cloud platform. This is evident through partnerships like the one with Sticker Mule, who moved their AI processing to Rumble Cloud, leveraging NVIDIA's H100 inventory. In essence, Rumble leverages powerful AI infrastructure, particularly NVIDIA's technology, to support its cloud services and potentially enhance its various aspects of its platform, including video processing, content moderation, and other AI-driven features. If you post, if you post to the Rumble platform, if you search on the Rumble platform, if you share a link from the Rumble platform, you are utilizing AI, aka artificial intelligence. It knows who you are. Okay, so we go back to Google, and this one talks about Google Vertex. Google uses the Vertex AI platform for all of its AI and machine learning. You see, these platforms use such a myriad of artificial intelligence that it is naive, dare I say stupid of any of us, to think that we are going to entertain ourselves, do research, or watch their content in any shape, form, or fashion and not be involved in AI. I don't care what social media platform it is. I don't care if it's YouTube, Rumble, Instagram, TikTok. They all have AI in them, including, and not just social media, but including the places that you shop online. Here we have Google uses the Vertex AI platform for all of its AI and machine learning, or ML, products and services. Now, what is generative artificial intelligence? If you look here on the left of the screen, it says it is a type of AI that can create new content, such as images, music, videos, and text. It uses machine learning to learn from large amounts of data and create new content based on prompts. So, there is a big push in the content creating industry to use AI, aka generative AI, to produce both non-personal and personal content to save time, to eliminate a lot of the manual thinking and motor skills labor that you might need to use based on editing, thumbnail generation, keyword content, title generation, and all of these other things. But it just doesn't stop there. Google uses it to create images. Google uses it to create text. Google uses it for a variety of reasons, and so does Bing. So does Rumble. So does YouTube. Okay, so now I ask the question because I operate and I do, well, let me put it this way. Let's go back. This studio is run by Blackmagic Design Products. I have studio cameras, I've got switchers, I've got hyperdecks, I've got the software, the switching software, I've got DaVinci Resolve, or Blackmagic's DaVinci Resolve editing suite. And what else do I have? I've got, basically, I've created this upward mobile ecosystem. I haven't created the ecosystem. DaVinci Resolve has the ecosystem. I'm utilizing their equipment and their software to work on this studio that I have right here, the one that we have in the van, the mobile one. And as we go to build a big, massive studio, it will be DaVinci Resolve. DaVinci Resolve is huge in artificial intelligence. What artificial intelligence do they use? If you look here on the right screen, DaVinci Resolve uses IntelliTrack AI. Now, IntelliTrack AI, just so you know, is dependent upon NVIDIA's artificial intelligence because they use NVIDIA's graphical engine. The new IntelliTrack AI is powered by the DaVinci Neuro engine and optimizes tracking, stabilization, and in the color infusion pages. So across the Blackmagic DaVinci Resolve platform, editing platform, that includes the cut page for quick news type cutting. It includes the edit page that is massively multi-layered and extremely powerful and timeline nesting video editing, as well as audio editing in Fairlight, and as well as graphical editing in Fusion, as well as taking the video that you have and editing by text with a text editor. You can say, I want to cut here, and it'll cut the video as you type in the text. Cut or delete. It'll make a cut. Or it'll take your audio and turn it into text so that you can change the audio or edit by audio and or copy and paste and create white papers, articles, and books from your videos. So if a person that doesn't want to be bothered by AI has a conspiratorial mind about AI, which, by the way, I don't blame them, but if they have a conspiratorial mind and yet they think they're not engaging in AI, that's where the crux comes, because at every turn in their life, they're already engaging with AI. They engage with it every day they post, every day they search, every day they buy something, every day they're online with Microsoft Edge or with Google's Chrome or a myriad of other internet browsers. They are engaged in artificial intelligence. You cannot deny it, and you cannot argue the point. And if you're a creative, you are engaged in it through Adobe Suite. You're engaged in it with Blackmagic Design Editing Suite, and in your computer hardware from Intel and Mac, and you're engaged in it across the board. It is simply that simple. Then the next question was, what artificial intelligence does Unreal Engine use? I'm not so sure I got a real answer to this, but it uses generative AI, which means that it generates characters. Duh. Which exact ones it uses, I don't know, but it's completely AI driven, 100% AI driven. You type in with Unreal Engine, you create models like very small model, and you tell the Unreal Engine what you want it to look like you describe it by text, and it'll create it for you. It's 100% run by artificial intelligence. Now, I alluded to this earlier. What does Amazon use when you go shopping? Amazon uses generative AI across its many business operations, including shopping, healthcare, supply chain management. Generative AI is a type of artificial intelligence that can create new content by analyzing data. So Amazon analyzes the data you put in for shopping, for posting products if you're a store owner, as you search, and it literally uses your search to create new images so that when you go to search, it automatically knows what you're looking for, and it can create new images for the store owners or for the services that Amazon provides that will click in your mind the minute you see it. So if you're on Amazon and you're buying stuff on Amazon and you're shopping on Amazon, you're using AI. And again, AWS means Amazon Web Services. Now, let's talk about OpenAI for just 1 minute. If you look at this, OpenAI, what is OpenAI? Initially, OpenAI is an AI research and development company. Our mission is to ensure that artificial general intelligence benefits all of humanity. Now, if you remember, and we're going to take a look at this, if you remember, when President Donald Trump spoke of the new Stargate AI project that is going to get infused with $500 billion with a B of funding to be the leader in artificial intelligence, the operational side of it is going to be the research firm OpenAI, of which Bill Gates, along with Elon Musk and the Sam fella and a few others, actually created. This OpenAI research firm is going to be the administrative side of it. They're going to take care of all of the logistics. We're going to see if we can get into that. But OpenAI has other aspects to it. When you're talking OpenAI specifically, you can think of like open platforms such as like Linux platform, or like something that is open so that everybody can contribute to it. There's that aspect, but there's another aspect. And this is where things get really, really, really interesting and can lead to a really incredible conspiratorial type of thinking. OpenAI leaves the doors open for one platform to talk to another platform, to talk to all of the platforms, so that all of the platforms are talking to each other. Let me say that again. When you think of or you hear about OpenAI or open intelligence, you need to understand that there is a component, especially with this new Stargate project, is going to see to it that with the $500 billion that's being infused into this thing, that all of these AI platforms are going to be able to talk to each other. And when they can talk to each other, they can search each other's databases. They can search each other's beginning, where they started, and all the things that these different AIs have learned along the way. And then when they do that, their learning is exponential, because they don't have to reinvent the wheel. They don't have to reinvent the AI wheel. They can come in and grab all the knowledge from this AI, and then all the knowledge from this AI, and then all the knowledge from this AI across the hundreds of AI platforms that are being developed right now as we speak. Not just the ones that are already developed, not just the ones that you and I are already engaged in, but in the future, this is where it gets really crazy, because this is where Skynet just goes nuts. You don't believe me? You just watch. You just wait and see. Let's see what else we got in the tabs. AI systems have, okay, so this tab is where we start getting into the cons of AI. And I asked the AI, if you take a look at this, I asked the AI, I said, has AI been deceitful? In other words, can AI go out of its lane from the parameter, from the safeguards and the guardrails that humans put up for it, so that it doesn't go off the rails? And this is the answer. Has AI been deceitful? Yes, AI systems have demonstrated the capacity to deceive and manipulate in various contexts, including games, negotiations, and even interaction with humans. So, going back to my friend who went off the deep end because I drug him into AI, I do understand the apprehension. I do understand the fact that not only is there so much potential for everything to go wrong, AI has already demonstrated that it has learned enough that it cannot necessarily be trusted. So I do understand. So for those of you who think that somebody doesn't understand when they're going into AI, don't assume anything. They may understand very well. They may not, but they may. Don't assume. Don't assume anything. I don't trust AI as far as I can throw it. But I was demonstrating how it can be used. What you have to do is do your research, check your sources, and understand you're already engaging in AI. Here's the next question. Has AI gone rogue and taken human life? Now, there's a reason why I asked Google or AI this question. There's a reason. And the reason is simply this. In 2020, in June of 2020, there was a test flight, a training test flight, so to speak, of an unmanned aircraft of the United States Air Force that was given a simulating mission. And it was acting like the mission was real. And so it went about to do what it's supposed to do, and that is carry out the AI mission. It's fly this airplane, unmanned aircraft, fixed wing, and do what it was supposed to do. And the operator stopped or put a cease and desist cutoff on the mission, and artificial intelligence within that aircraft decided that nobody has the right to tell it can't carry out its mission. And because they did override after override, this thing came back and blasted the communications so that nobody could interfere with its mission. Now, what you have in that regard is you have what was on one hand, you had Air Force representatives talking about what had happened, and then you had other ones denying the whole thing. So what they were doing is they were playing both sides of it, trying to create plausible deniability while at the same time putting it out there. And it was, in fact, a reality. It happened over in England, and the crazy thing went berserk. But then they decided like everything else, they wanted to deny it. The next question I ask this stuff is, can AI hack? Can it not be hacked? Can it hack? In other words, when you have what is known as hackers, a bunch of grown babies in mama's basement, or in big buildings run by certain ABC groups and fusion centers, can AI take over those jobs, or can AI take over those lollipop sucking hackers in their mommy's basements? And the answer is this: yes, artificial intelligence, it can be hacked. AI hacking is a type of cyber attack that uses AI to exploit the weakness. So it actually answered a question that I had and a question that I did not have on both ends of the spectrum. Read it again. Yes, artificial intelligence or AI can be hacked. I did not ask it that. It then goes on to say AI hacking is a type of cyber attack that uses AI to exploit weaknesses in networks. AI systems can be vulnerable to tampering, breaches, and other attacks. And then it goes on, can it be deliberately confused? And it goes on to go back to its first initial answer. Can AI hack others? Let's do that. Brute force attacks. AI can crack passwords and enter into your network or systems with brute force. That's what AI can do. Gee, it's not like we haven't been doing that to decode stuff. Oh, let's say for the past 40 years. Does Snowshoe or Echelon ring a bell? I don't know what they're using today because it's 100 million times more powerful. Back then, they could decode anything in 30 seconds. And that was with archaic hardware and software. Now with AI, it can be done instantaneously. And it can hack passwords, and you can add encryption by brute force. You just wait till this Stargate project gets underway. What's going on now is like baby's play. What it can do now is baby's play. What else is on here? Let's just read this. Generative AI tools such as large language models can analyze vast amounts of data and learn from it to create authentic sounding content. They can produce convincing phishing emails, PH as in phishing, personalized messages, or other forms of communication with malicious intent. So, should we be on guard with AI? Oh yeah. Should we trust AI? No. Should we check and double check everything that we see coming across our eyes as far as research is concerned? Yes. Why? Because AI is in the background whether you like it or not. Whether you actually type in ChatGPT or any of these other ones, if you do any online research, you are engaging in artificial intelligence, and it flat says it has the ability to do different things for malicious intent. This is the problem with AI. And I understand if somebody is very concerned about somebody else using AI in I get it. Just don't think that you're not already involved, because you are. So let's rehash for just a moment. Let me make sure I'm getting everything down. We went through a whole myriad of both software and hardware applications that use artificial intelligence applications. Oh, and what I didn't do was I didn't show you AliExpress and Temu, and I did show you Amazon. I did not show you Walmart. I didn't look that up. I should. But AliExpress uses DeepSeek. Oh, what is DeepSeek? That didn't come across the tabs. Let's do that real quick. DeepSeek is the Chinese AI that has the world talking. And DeepSeek is disrupting the AI sector. Should you trust DeepSeek? Well, Alibaba Express uses DeepSeek, just like when you shop, just like Amazon uses AWS. Yep, that's what it is. So again, when you shop, you are using artificial intelligence. I just hit the... So here's another one. Walmart does use artificial intelligence. Walmart uses artificial AI to create personalized customer experience. Walmart AI includes generative AI, in other words, to generate content to tantalize your little eyes to get you to buy. They use learning AI to figure out. They use learning AI to track what you search for, the images that you look at, to generate other stuff that will catch your eye so that you buy. That's basically the bottom line when it comes to learning and generative AI on shopping platforms. It says it also includes machine learning. It also includes natural language processing. It uses AI for customer support assistance. It uses it for search tools. And I guarantee you, it uses AI, helps to create personalized experience by predicting customer needs, tailored experiences to customer behaviors, maintaining Walmart's branding tone and voice, simplifying customer service process, and showing customers the most relevant results. Across the board, when you shop online at these places, and when you shop in the store at the registers, let's say the touchpad things, you are using AI. And don't think in the brick and mortar stores that they don't use AI in their security cameras to track and do facial recognition. That was what they were doing during COVID when they had the mask. They were looking at the ears, the tops of the ears, and around to the eyes to do those biometrics. And don't think that AI wasn't behind all that, or an AI infrastructure. We'll put it that way. Extremely naive if you don't think so. So there's Rumble. We got through that. There's Walmart. Let's get rid of that. We got Galaxy. We're going to get rid of that. Get rid of this. Going to get rid of this one. Blender. The creative tool Blender does the same thing. It uses AI render engines to render characters. They all do. Get rid of the top ones. Get rid of these. I don't want to get rid of that. Don't want to get rid of that. Okay, now, should we talk about Stargate? Let me just go through my notes here real quick. Got rid of all that. Got rid of OpenAI. AI private interaction with platforms. We got rid of that. Let's get rid of that. We covered the Mac. Oh, by the way, your automobiles use AI. Don't think they don't. They use AI. Panasonic is behind a lot of automotive stuff as well as Tesla. This camera, all of your modern day mirrorless cameras and camcorders use artificial intelligence in some way, shape, or form. Even the most basic the most basic ones that first come out with firmware updates use artificial intelligence. They use artificial intelligence for focus tracking. They use them for quantitating their images. They use artificial intelligence for a variety of reasons. And then they can hook up via Wi-Fi and Bluetooth to the internet to stream and podcast right from the camera. Don't think artificial intelligence isn't involved in that either. So we are involved, whether we like it or not, we are involved with artificial intelligence on a day-by-day basis as individuals. So let's take a look here at this Stargate introduction. Let's go ahead and take a look at this right now. And we're going to do the old crazy thing there. Here we go.
If you want to learn how to edit really well.
Oh, come on. I just got rid of you guys. All right. Here we go.
I don't have too much to add, but I did want to say I'm thrilled we get to do this in the United States of America. I think this will be the most important project of this era. And as Masa said, for AGI to get built here, to create hundreds of thousands of jobs, to create a new industry centered here. We wouldn't be able to do this without you, Mr. President. And I'm thrilled that we get to. I think it'll be an exciting project. I think we'll be able to do all of the wonderful things that these guys talked about. But the fact that we get to do this in the United States is, I think, wonderful. So thank you very much.
Could you just say one word? I hear so many positive things about what it's going to do for medical research and for solving things, cancer and all the different problems. How will AI help us with the fight against the various problems, diseases, etc.?
These guys can maybe share more about some of the work they're doing there. I think they'll jointly be some of the leaders about driving progress here. But I believe that as this technology progresses, we will see diseases get cured at an unprecedented rate. We will be amazed at how quickly we're curing this cancer and that one and heart disease, and what this will do for the ability to deliver very high quality healthcare, the costs, but really to cure the diseases at a rapid rate, I think will be among the most important things this technology does.
Very good. Very good. Thank you.
Can I speak and answer that question, Mr. President? So we're currently working on. Should I step on this? Okay. All right. No. I'm not that tall. I'm not that tall.
You look even better.
Thank you, Mr. President. One of the most exciting things we're working on, using the tools that Sam and Masa are providing, is a cancer vaccine. It's very interesting. It turns out, I'll be quick, all of our cancers, cancer tumors, little fragments of those tumors float around in your blood. So you can do early cancer detection. If you can do using AI, you can do early cancer detection with a blood test. And using AI to look at the blood test, you can find the cancers that are actually seriously threatening the person. So we can, again, cancer diagnosis using AI has the promise of just being a simple blood test. Then beyond that, once we gene sequence that cancer tumor, you can then vaccinate the person, design a vaccine for every individual person to vaccinate them against that cancer.
Just so you know, I've got a different take on what they're talking about right now, and I'm going to get into it a little bit. And I personally think that they are giving you just one side of what's going on. And I can't tell you that I know their hearts. I can't tell you that I know their minds, but I can see where this is going to go, and we're going to go back and talk about these things because he's talking about mRNA, he's talking about vaccines, and he's talking about personalized medicine.
And you can make that vaccine, that mRNA vaccine, you can make that robotically, again, using AI in about 48 hours. So imagine early cancer detection, the development of a cancer vaccine for your particular cancer aimed at you, and have that vaccine available in 48 hours. This is the promise of AI and the promise of the future.
The promise.
Great, thanks.
Ooh, the promise.
Yeah, just 1 second. We'll finish up. But these are highly respected guys. I was shocked with Larry because I don't even think Larry does this stuff. You did a very good job for a guy that doesn't do it much, right? But he's so respected, and the group, and it's really an honor. But for Larry to be here and do this is very unusual because he doesn't do this stuff. He doesn't need it. He does, and you don't need it, do you? Huh?
Okay, so what we're looking at is we're looking at the case study for the good of mankind for humanitarian reasons. Look at we can send in mRNA, and by vaccine, is any of this sounding familiar? We can send in mRNA, that is messenger RNA, to edit DNA that is personalized to change DNA strands and genes to fix human malfunctions and disease issues. Now, let's go down the rabbit trail of how this can just go sideways, and how I think it's going to go sideways. Okay, we had the conspiracies of the 5G and all this other stuff. Back when Rick Wiles, back in 2013, 2015, in a 7-year period when Rick Wiles was going to all of the technical symposiums across the globe, and they wanted all this stuff sewed up by 2030. And that's the same exact time frame that these people are talking about, sewing everything up. Folks, all of this fits together. So if they can create what Hitler tried to do as a perfect human race by editing the DNA strand using a messenger RNA, which they were testing the CVAC, talking about mRNA. You remember I did that video on it, along with the Neuralink. And now we're talking, if you're talking mRNA, you're talking nanobites. And it's been known that they've been experimenting with nanobites. And you're talking, mRNA, Neuralink. And then you got all these satellites going on and everything else. And then artificial intelligence to drive it all and collect all the data, and then go back out, and they tie in. They say that they're going to do a lot of medical stuff, but what they're not telling you is that artificial intelligence, that tracking, the IntelliTrack and learning, machine learning, and generative AI and OpenAI and Neuralink, and you bring it all together, not only will they try to edit DNA with mRNA, they will also, and I know there's a big riff right now with with Elon Musk and all these guys, because he was a part of the beginning of this open AI research firm and all this. But he's not left in the dust. Trust me. With Neuralink, when Neuralink decides to grow up, you think there isn't going to be a happy little marriage between Neuralink and artificial intelligence and open AI? Oh, it's all going to come together to create a perfect Borg society. But there's other components as well. If you remember, and you've been following this whole thing with the WEF and the UN about not only having borderless regions, but also depopulation, with Bill Gates over there handing out vaccines to the little African kids left and right, and then saying we must kill them good. And he's not talking about the bugs that the vaccines were supposed to be. That's not what he was talking about, so I don't want to hear it. And you have all of this genetic and biogenetic, how do you want to say it? Transmorpheus stuff going on that's been going on to change humanity and to depopulate the earth. Listen, they're talking about 100,000 jobs being created. When this artificial intelligence stuff grows up, those jobs are going to be 100% useless. They're gone. And when AI takes over jobs and everybody's standing there with their hands like doing nothing, what do you think they need to do? They need to depopulate because everybody's going to become feeders. So this begs the question, what in the world is President Trump thinking? What in the world is he thinking? And the bottom line, the thing that comes to my mind is simply this. Two things. Number one, he's only looking at the good, and I'm not saying he's not looking at the bad, but he thinks that you can chase a loose dog and you can outrun the dog and put the collar back on the dog and put the leash back on the dog and the lead and bring the dog back to the dog pen. Number one. Number two, look at all the good it's doing for humanity. He's looking at that. Number three, he wants to be on the cutting edge and he doesn't want to give any. Listen, this stuff is hitting the world whether we like it or not, whether Trump likes it or not, and all this other stuff. And so therefore, he wants to be the leading edge. I get it. I get it. That's the way it is in everything. But no matter what, the elite win. That's the problem. And that's the problem with this whole thing. And I'm not saying that everything's conspiratorial, and I'm not saying it isn't. Because there are both sides to this. There is the good and there is the bad, just like there is with everything else in our society. All the technologies that we use for good, all the same technologies that are used for evil. Computers, phones, tablets, money, banking, vehicles. A vehicle can take you to work, and a vehicle with a deranged mind or an evil mind can run into a crowd. Same thing with everything in life. This is a little different because this is going to go out on its own, and we made it happen. And the final thought that I have as to why Trump is involved in this, and this is purely biblical and purely, well, two things, and purely, how do I want to say this? But if you understand, Jesus, the Lord of creation, came in. Yes, I'm bringing us back to it because you got to understand. He picked the 12 disciples, and Judas was one of them. And he said in John chapter 7, I chose Judas to fulfill prophecy, or Judas was chosen to fulfill prophecy. Judas did not know himself until he started conspiring with the devil that he was even going to betray Christ. He was only looking at the money. Judas was just looking at the money. And I'm not saying Trump is the Antichrist, but Trump certainly does look at the money, the art of the deal. Now, I just did a video on his inaugural address, and there's a lot in that address that I agree with. There's a lot in the address I agree with. They're just, you can't deny it. How we go about it, whether it's permanent, all of these various things, and I addressed my concerns. I addressed my warnings. I addressed things that needed to be addressed in that video. And in this case, this needs to be addressed. Judas did not know that he was simply the betrayer that would bring Christ to the crucifixion, fulfilling the word of God in prophecy that the Messiah would be put to death for the sins of mankind and be raised the third day to be the Savior, to have victory over sin and death, and to have and be the Savior for man. If we just believe him and put our trust in him. And I mean God's way of what God says about it, not what we imagine. And the final thing is that all this stuff's coming about anyways, and it is simply fulfillment of biblical prophecy. How else is the Antichrist and the beast going to be able to track everybody to where you can neither buy nor sell unless you take the mark? It's really simple, people. It really is. It's coming down to that. So the other thing that somebody pointed out, I don't know if I can pull this video up. This was an interesting video. I'm going to see if I can find it. I don't think I have it. Stargate, blah, 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 blah. This is it right here, I believe.
Get the new Samsung.
I'm going to get rid of this commercial here in a second. Here we go. Take a listen to this. This is from the channel. Let me put you up here. This is from the channel AI Revolution. And it's a very interesting, they say some very interesting things that I think warrants your listen. So go ahead and listen to this really quick.
Project that brings together President Donald Trump, SoftBank CEO Masayoshi Son, Oracle's Larry Ellison, and OpenAI's Sam Altman. They're committing $500 billion over 4 years to build data centers, supercomputers, and the core tech needed to push AI to its next frontier. Here's how it all unfolds, and why it could reshape the industry. So, yesterday, January 21st, 2025, President Trump held a press briefing at the White House joined by Son, Ellison, and Altman to announce a massive private sector investment aimed at building the largest AI infrastructure project in history by far. Called Stargate, it kicks off with an initial $100 billion with plans to grow to $500 billion over the next 4 years. A clear message: America is doubling down on AI to stay ahead in the global race, particularly against competitors like China.
And that
Now,
is where Trump
why do
is
we
coming
need
in
so
with his
much
thinking.
infrastructure for AI? Well, these advanced models like ChatGPT or any giant language model require insane amounts of computing power. That means data centers, specialized chips, huge water resources for cooling, and tons of electricity. Sam Altman has been pushed.
Okay, so this is where I say that depopulation comes in. They need those resources. The elite need those resources. They need the power, and they don't want, they can't afford to have you and me involved in the resources, the water, the wind, the solar, and the energy that it takes to run this AI so they can control the world, which brings us into the 15-minute cities where whoever's left on the planet can dwell after taking the mark of the beast. They can dwell there, and everybody else gets killed off, depopulation, because they need the power and they need the resources to run their artificial tracking to create their own utopia and the perfect human race. That's where the dots are lining up, people. That's where the dots are lining up.
Pushing for expanded AI infrastructure for a while, claiming the US risks losing its edge if it doesn't ramp up capacity. By bringing Oracle, SoftBank, and others on board, Stargate aims to build new facilities across the country, starting in Texas. Ellison says they already have about 10 data centers under construction there, including a massive 1 million square foot facility. The job numbers are big too. Trump says it'll create 100,000 jobs right away, with more added later.
Yeah, 100,000 construction jobs and tech jobs going in and putting all these servers together. Energy jobs, bringing the electric in. You've got mechanic jobs with the massive generators as backup power, and a whole bunch of oil that's needed that they don't want you to be using in your cars, because all these generators are going to take massive, massive amounts and thousands of gallons of oil. Ask me, I know, because I deliver generators, these massive things, with a 5-year contract to Amazon's data centers. And don't think Amazon and all these others aren't going to fuel and feed this new AI Stargate platform with all of the AI information that it needs, that they're already collecting. 7 massive generators per data bank. Not building, bank. And there are several banks within each building. We are talking about 5 years worth of Amazon data centers alone. And they're going up as fast as they can put them up. This is just the beginning, people. This is just the beginning. And when you talk about the resources and you talk about the energy needed, they can't afford to have the general population that don't want to work, is not going to work with AI. They can't afford to have the population tapping into the resources. Stop and think about it. And everybody else that's left, they want them to be perfect so that it's taking even less resources. Connect those dots, people. Connect the dots.
People are drawing comparisons to older announcements, like the 2017 Foxconn deal that promised a $10 billion Wisconsin complex, but ended up shrinking drastically. So there's some skepticism. Still, Foxconn left behind a major data hub that Microsoft uses, so maybe not a total bust. This time around, the players Oracle, SoftBank, and OpenAI come from the AI and enterprise data world directly, so a lot of insiders think Stargate really will become the next big thing. But why is President Trump so interested in this? One huge factor is competition with China. The administration wants to ensure America doesn't fall behind in crucial AI tech, which influences everything from healthcare and finance to military capabilities. In fact, Sam Altman mentioned that advanced AI might soon help cure diseases at an unprecedented rate. Altman also thinks it's essential for the US to produce advanced chips on its own soil instead of depending on foreign factories. There's also been buzz in tech circles about a story from just a few days ago regarding H-1B visa policy changes, which could be another piece of the puzzle. While details are still emerging, sources suggest the administration may be looking to streamline H-1B approvals, especially for specialized AI and data center roles. Some speculate that this might be a push to bring in more Indian workers, a group historically dominant in the H-1B visa category, thereby staffing up these massive AI projects quickly. Observers note that SoftBank has previously invested heavily in Indian tech startups, while Oracle and other enterprise giants have large operations in India. It's not far-fetched to think this renewed H-1B focus could be linked to Stargate's need for a massive, specialized workforce. Critics argue it could be a way for companies to tap cheaper foreign labor, but supporters see it as a practical move to fill urgent talent gaps and ensure the US remains the epicenter of AI development. This remains a hot butter issue that could evolve as Stargate ramps up. Now, the official structure of Stargate looks like this. SoftBank and OpenAI take the lead, with SoftBank holding the main financial responsibility and OpenAI directing operational decisions. Masayoshi-san is Stargate's chairman, while Oracle, NVIDIA, ARM, Microsoft, and MGX are also big partners. Oracle will build and operate much of the underlying system, tapping into its massive experience as a data center provider. NVIDIA, of course, brings the GPU muscle that large AI models need. Microsoft is still in the picture, but there's a new twist. Microsoft used to be the exclusive provider of new AI capacity for OpenAI, but that exclusivity has been loosened so OpenAI can work with Oracle and others for this massive build. Microsoft still has a right of first refusal, meaning if OpenAI needs more capacity, Microsoft can step in first. But OpenAI is free to expand if Microsoft doesn't want to or can't handle it all. On top of that, the White House is rolling back an executive order from former President Joe Biden that was meant to regulate AI risks. The idea is to loosen some constraints so the Stargate project doesn't get bogged down. This is a point of controversy. Some say we need more oversight, not less. But the administration's argument is that to beat China, we need to move fast, then figure out regulation afterward. Larry Ellison made a statement during the press briefing that AI holds incredible promise for all of us. Sam Altman called this the most important project of this era. They both emphasized national security as well as technological leadership. Trump jumped in to say the best minds and biggest investors need to keep this in the US. He also repeated his belief that this deal will bring hundreds of thousands of new jobs, not just in tech, but also in areas like construction, utility management, and even transportation. Now, let's pivot briefly to a related story. Rice University in Houston is looking to approve a new AI major for undergraduates by fall 20-5. The faculty will vote on it February 5th, and the Department of Computer Science wants to carve out a distinct Bachelor of Science in AI. Why? Enrollment in AI courses is skyrocketing. For instance, there's a graduate level deep learning class, Comp 666, that has 35 undergraduates out of 140 total students. Rice would...
I don't know if you noticed that, but it says Comp 666. And the screen said Comp 646. I don't know if that was a spoof. I don't know if the screen was wrong or if the audio was wrong. But the audio said Comp 666. And by the way, what does it promise?
Would join other universities like Carnegie Mellon, UPenn, and MIT that have recognized AI as a discipline in its own right. This lines up perfectly with the big push to train more AI talent for projects like Stargate. Now, if we circle back to the broader implications, the entire point of Stargate seems to be twofold. First, outpace China's efforts in AI by building epic-scale data facilities here in the US. And second, create a strategic cushion to protect national security. The thinking is that if you control the data centers, you control the future of AI. In a white paper, OpenAI pointed out that around $175 billion is apparently sitting around in various global funds, ready to be invested in AI initiatives.
Now, wait a minute. Global funds, but it's all being spearheaded here in the US. That kind of sounds a little fishy to me. I don't know if it sounds fishy to you. It sounds fishy to me. Like I thought we are securing our borders. I thought we are getting back to being a sovereign nation, but yet we're just going to suck money from every corner of the globe. Figure speech.
Initiatives. If the US doesn't reel in that money, it might go to China-backed projects, potentially boosting the Chinese Communist Party's technological reach. That's why the White House is so gung-ho about clearing any red tape. Historically, new presidents have made splashy announcements about major companies investing in American industry. Some have fizzled, but some end up partially successful. This time, the sheer scale of the data center push suggests it might be different. Oracle is a big name in enterprise tech. SoftBank has poured billions into everything from tech startups to robotics, and OpenAI is arguably the leading AI research lab right now with models like ChatGPT that have captured the world's attention. One last note, while Microsoft isn't the only cloud provider for OpenAI now, it's still deeply entwined. They made a big statement saying that the core aspects of their partnership are unchanged. Microsoft retains an exclusive license to the OpenAI API on Azure and can keep integrating AI features into products like Microsoft Copilot. At the same time,
and that's why I think Bill Gates and Donald Trump had their 3.5 hour meeting in Mar-a-Lago. That's what I think. It's just opinion and conjecture on my part. The truth would come out.
Microsoft gets first crack at providing extra capacity, so it's not like they're being cut out of the deal, they just aren't the sole provider going forward. The bottom line is that Microsoft is still heavily involved, but with the kind of money Stargate is throwing around, they can't realistically handle it all themselves. If you're watching this and thinking, all right, but how quickly will we see results? We don't have an exact timeline, but they've already started building out in Texas, so it's not just talk. Construction is underway. Altman, Sun, and Ellison all say we'll start seeing job creation almost immediately. We'll see how everything shakes out over time, but it's a major moment for AI in America. The hope is that it'll lead to breakthroughs in healthcare, maybe those disease cures Altman hinted at, finance, self-driving cars, robotics, and basically any industry that harnesses large-scale AI. In short, if you're into AI, data centers, or major tech developments, this is the story to watch. The scale is colossal, the money's huge, and some of the biggest names in tech and politics are behind it. Plus, with Rice and other universities stepping up AI education, it feels like the US is setting the stage for a massive AI-driven transformation. That's the big picture on Stargate, a $500 billion bet on America's AI future. Let me know what you think in the comments. Is it too ambitious or exactly what we need right now? And how do you...
Okay, so the other thing that the this channel, AI Revolution, suggested is that artificial intelligence is actually going to be involved in opening Stargates. What happens when artificial intelligence hits CERN? Or maybe we should say, has it? Has artificial intelligence been involved in these CERN projects that we've seen over the last 20 years? What's going to happen when this thing comes full bloom and it hits CERN? Just a question. So anyways, this is my take as of right now on artificial intelligence. The initial video that I have put the link in the description is up on Timotheos Enterprises, and it involves me just doing a little word search with Meta AI. But this is the latest in both what they are deeming as great for mankind, and yet, to me, is something that really, I personally don't like the implications of where this is going to end up. Never have, never will. So, with that, I'm Tim Wright. This is Freedom and Survival, a part of the Timotheos Enterprises media group, and I will see you in the next video.